Welcome back, board gamers, to the Dan Clifford Show, the Clifford and Dan Show, where we're guaranteed to probably leave you bored. Now, today we're talking about Disney Lorcana, and more specifically, Clifford's pick for the top two cards in each color for the game. Most of them are just cards that I like, but a lot of them are also very good for making a deck and doing really well with them. In the comment section down below, you can let me know what your top two favorite cards are. I look forward to seeing that. You can also hit me up in the Discord. I'll leave a link down below. Join the Discord so we can talk about cards. I'm trying to get it started. Hopefully we can have a lot of fun on there. And we also started a Patreon, which will also link below. Hopefully in the future we'll have some better perks to come into the Patreon, but feel free to look at that as well. But with that, let's get into it. Okay, getting started now in the amber or orange color, whatever you want to call it. In my top two, I have Ariel Spectacular Singer, a 3-cost inkable character with 2 attack, 3 defense. That's not where she really shines. Where she shines is the Singer 5 ability. For 3 costs, you can sing any 5 or under cost songs. It's pretty amazing, especially if you have a lot of songs in there for playing Orange Steel, which is hugely popular these days. You can play Grab Your Swords super early in the game if you need to. There's a ton of other songs that are really good to sing along to as well, such as A Whole New World if you're into playing A Whole New World. Also in my top two, in any order really, could be 1 or 2, we have Moana, a 5-drop inkable character with 1 attack and 6 defense. She quests for 3 lore, which is pretty phenomenal. But better than that, when she quest, you may ready other princess characters, and then they can't quest for the rest of your turn. This is really good when you use it in conjunction with, say, Rapunzel, who is a princess character who has 2... she quests for 2 lore as well, so you can quest with her, then quest with Moana, put that Rapunzel back into ready position so she can't be attacked next turn, and then you have a Moana here with 6 defense. She's pretty tanky, pretty hard to get through. It's a really good strategy, and that's why she's one of my top 2s. Moving on to Amethyst. Now, to no one's surprise, Elsa, Spirit of Winter, is in my top 2. She's one of the best cards in the game, in my opinion. She's just truly phenomenal. Just really late game. I've played against a lot of Amethyst decks that use cards to stack her on the bottom. You play the long game, and you get towards the end, and you're just ready to go to town with multiple Elsas, just locking your opponent down. It is really good, still a really good strategy to this day. She's an 8-drop that can't be inked, unfortunately. You don't really want to ink her anyways, but she's got 4 attack, 6 damage, which is very strong. She also quests for 3 lore. She has a shift to 6. I don't really see anybody playing any of the other Elsas to take advantage of the shift, but it is there if you want it. And where she shines right here is that Deep Freeze ability. When you play this character, set up to 2 chosen characters, they can't be readied at the start of their next turn. It's just super good. You make your opponents go into the ready position so you can attack them if you want to, and then next turn they can't do anything. They can't quest or do anything. It just locks them down. It is, hands down, one of the best cards ever. And in my number 2 spot is Friends on the Other Side, which is a 3-drop inkable card that lets you draw 2 cards. And you can also sing it, if your character costs 3 or more, you can sing it, which is really good. So you can exert one of your cards, save some of your ink, and then draw 2 cards. Drawing in this game is pretty sparse. There's not a lot of cards that allow you to draw. So if you're not loading those load cards into your deck, you're just kind of end up top decking, and that's never fun. So this card guarantees that you can get more cards into your hand, putting it in my top 2. Okay, moving on to Emerald now. My top 2, we have Kuzco, the Temperamental Emperor. He's a 5-drop that can't be inked, 2 attack, 4 damage with Ward, which means you can't target him with those pesky spells to get rid of him and bounce him back to your hand, which is just really good because he quests for 3 lore, which is super good. And he also has this no-touchy ability that when he is challenged and banished, you also banish the challenging character. A lot of people get scared, see that 3 lore, and they don't want to let him out there for very long, so they tend to attack with big hitters to hit him once, and then you're guaranteeing you're taking those big hitters out. He's super good. Similar to Mad Hatter, who is a very similar card, but the Mad Hatter doesn't have Ward, so he can be bounced back to your hand, inked, whatever. So he's just not quite as good, so Kuzco's in my top 2. And no surprise here, if you guys have been watching my channel, Top 2, we have the Genie. Now, this is the Genie that has Evasive, first of all. Evasive is an underutilized ability, in my opinion, that can really slow down your opponent from getting to you. He's a 6-drop that can't be inked, 3 attack, 4 defense, but he has Disappear, so when you play him, you can return a chosen character to their player's hands. Now, in the next set coming out, there's going to be a lot of abilities that happen when cards leave play and return to your hand and come out, so I think he's going to be a fine addition to the next set coming out. He also gives Emerald some removal to help with some of those pesky guys that get out on the field. Just don't use it on Elsa. I'm cheating a little bit on red by including 3 entries in on this one. In my top 3 for red, we have Maui. He's just a phenomenal 5-drop that can be inked. You can use several cards to come out a little bit cheaper too. He's really good. 6 attack, 5 damage, and he comes out rush and reckless, which means he can just come straight out of your hand, ready to maul some of your opponent's big hitters. The rush ability is just so good. I use him every time I use red. I think he's the best red card out there, if you ask me. But a strong case could be put for Dragonfire, which is a 5 can't be inked card that just banishes a character, or Be Prepared, which is a 7 can't be inked card that banishes all characters. There should be no surprise that these are on the top list of the top 2 red. We all know what they do. They're phenomenal. I just wanted to include Maui in there because I just really think Maui deserves some spotlight. Moving on to Sapphire now. These two shouldn't be any surprise either for top 2 cards in Sapphire. We have Hades, who's a 7, can't be inked. Quest for 2, he has 3 attack, 6 damage. When you play this character, you may put a chosen opposing character into their player's inkwell face down. Now, this has kind of a downside in that you're giving your opponent ink, but I mean, you're already at 7, so they're probably not very low on ink right there. But then he just punts them in the inkwell, which means they can't be fetched either. So they can't use cards to take them out of their discard pile and put them back in their hand or back into their deck. It permanently removes them from play, which I just think is phenomenal. Not to mention he's got great stats. Quest for 2, definitely in my top 2 for Sapphire. And in no surprise again for top Sapphire, we have Belle, Strange but Special. She has a 4-drop that can be inked, which is really nice. 2 attack, 4 damage. But her thing that she's really good at is during your turn, you may put an additional card from your hand into your inkwell face down. One of the things that Sapphire does really good is ramping up that ink really high. And if you have Belle, she also has, when you have 10 or more cards in your inkwell, this character gets +4 lore, questing lore, whatever you call it, lore. So she's questing for 5 lore in one turn if you're up there in the late. She's just super good. Get her out early, ramp, and then just go to town. Just questing for 5. It's truly phenomenal. In my opinion, one of the best cards in the game. It just kind of sucks that Sapphire is not necessarily the best color, but it's not the worst either. But it kind of lacks in comparison to some of the others. Okay, moving on to the final color, and the first one, again, no surprise, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. A 6-drop that can be inked, 4 attack, 5 damage, quest for 2. She can be shifted into 4 with a Tinkerbell that's also pretty good. She has rocker boats. When you play her, you'll deal 1 damage to each opposing character, which is just phenomenal. And then during your turn, when this character banishes another character in a challenge, you deal 2 damage to a chosen opposing character. So she can come out with that shift, deal 1 damage to everybody, kill a guy, and then deal 2 damage to another. Truly phenomenal. One of the best cards out there. Highly recommend you get her, use her. Great card. And this one might be a little controversial. I like Prince Eric, a 2-drop that can be inked. He's a 1 attack, 3 damage, but he comes or 3 defense. He only quests for 1, but he has Challenger +2. So for a 2-drop, he effectively has 3 attack and 3 defense when you're attacking. So that early game, you can get rid of some really annoying characters. I don't think you should go with a steel deck without him. I could see also Captain Hook, who does the same thing, but as a 1-drop. A little less stats too, but still phenomenal cards. Must be in your deck. Alright, board gamers, so you have it. Those are Clifford's top 2 cards for each color in Disney Lorcana. Again, in the comment section below, let me know what your top 2 favorite are. Should be pretty cool. There's a lot of cool cards coming out. Don't forget to hit our Discord. Don't forget to potentially join our Patreon if you want to support our channel. Help us make some sweet new content for various things. Let us know what other kind of content you guys want. And as always, stay bored, gamers.